Hey book friends, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my February TBR video. So I'm going to be playing my game, TBR University, to help me pick my books. Let's just hop in and I will chat a little bit about my January books and then we'll pick February's TBR. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back, all the things. So like I said, we're going to be playing my TBR game, TBR University, which just is, it's so much fun. I will try to remember to link above a video where I chat through the rules, but it's a very straightforward game. So let's see, let's get into how January went. Now I am filming this video a little bit early, but I've reached a point in my January reading where I just don't want to be told what to read. Let me share what I had picked for last month. So I had a 5-book TBR for last month. I picked Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. I read this. I was going to tell you guys about the books. I've done that in the past, but I think I'm going to film a January TBR video. So I will tell you my thoughts, more thoughts, although I loved that book. I'll tell you that much. All right, I also read Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. I did read this one. I also had on my TBR Till Death Do Us Part by Lori Elizabeth Flynn, because I'm one of the co-hosts for the January book club for Sleep When I'm Dead, which is reading this book, obviously. And so I am slowly working through this, so I can't tell you quite yet what I think about that, but I will try and remember to link the live show for that. I'll come back and link it in case you watch this later on, but I'm reading that. I also read this one, which is Where the Library Hides by Isabel Ibanez. I read this for my reading challenge, the Elevate Your Reading Challenge. It's always linked down below. We have a Discord. It's really fun. There were a number of you who joined in reading this, and so it was a really fun experience to read it with all of you. Anyway, I'll let you know my thoughts if you don't already know my thoughts, but I'll let you know that in the wrap up. And then this is the last book I picked. And this is the book that I do want to read. I just don't want to read it right now. And so I'm choosing not to read Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, even though it was part of the game. So what that means then is that because I didn't finish my TBR, which I probably could have, I'm just in a certain mood where I want to kind of read what I want to read. So I'm going to play hard professor mode for my February game because that's the consequence. It's not a huge consequence, you'll see. I just have to take some extra circles and take the longer track through the board. It's not too big of a deal, but that's the plan, is it's going to be hard professor mode. And so the next thing I have to do is pick what type of course it's going to be. This is my favorite part. It's kind of, you pick the genre or the college course, if you will. So what I have here is I have loaded up the genres that I want to spin for to see what kind of course this is. So I popped it up over here so you guys could watch with me as I spin. Okay, let's see what kind of course we're going to be playing this month. This month is going to be, it's going to be fantasy. It's going to be fantasy. Yay. Okay. This is good because I have some books I need to read, and two of them at least are fantasy, so that's really good. But the fantasy aspect of this course only plays a part if I land on one of the green squares. So let's just flip over to the board so you can see that. And I will start playing my February TBR game for my Hard Professor Fantasy course. All right, guys, I'm gonna start by shuffling the cards because I feel like I have been getting a lot of the same prompts, but I have like 50 plus cards here. So hopefully we get some new ones today. All right, so my little cat here is on syllabus, which is the start of the course, obviously. And let's see what we get. 8 is good. 1, 2, 3, 8. Okay, so that's just a prompt. It doesn't have to be fantasy specific. I can pick anything that matches my outfit. Matches my outfit. Interesting. Okay, guys, so I got matches outfit. This seemed a bit hard at first because I really wanted it to go with some of the books I want to pick up, which we'll get to these in a second. But it just didn't have quite enough of the colors. Like maybe I could count that, but the honest thing is I went to my shelves and I found a few more. Like I was like, oh, I really want to read Foxglove. Doesn't quite match. This one was closest or closer, but let's be honest. This is like a perfect match. Like this couldn't be a more perfect match for the sweatshirt thing I'm wearing. And so this is another reason I really like my game, because I've been wanting to read this. I just haven't felt in the mood per se for, I'm not even sure what kind of book this is, contemporary or literary fiction. I do know it's about science, which is why I initially picked it up. So I just reminded myself what this book is about. It's about a chemist in the 1960s, and she is part of like an all-male research institute until she gets married, has children, and then it sounds like she finds herself as a single mom being involved in some sort of like cooking show. But the cooking show is also a way for her to empower women. It says it's laugh out loud funny, which I could use a laugh out loud funny. So this couldn't be a more perfect book for Match My Outfit. All right then, roll number 2. Oh no. Okay, 1, 2. Extra credit. Extra credit is good. So for this game, extra credit means basically that I don't have to pick a book. So I don't have to pick a book, you guys. That is really fantastic. This happened in the last game. I've been landing on all of these special squares, but so that was rule number 2, and I don't have to pick a book. So let's just move on to rule number 3. 3. 1, 2, 3. I am not moving very fast, you guys. Okay, let's see what this is. Color in the title. Color in the title. Okay, let me see and get back to you. Okay guys, I got color in the title. So I was gonna go over to my shelves, but I remembered that I pre-ordered Onyx Storm. So like I said, I am filming this a little bit early, but I should be getting this book any day now. So it's called Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. I feel like everybody knows about this. This is the 3rd book in the 4th Wing series. Actually, it's not called that. I think it's called like Imperium, the Imperium trilogy, something like that. I read 4th Wing and Iron Flame as my first 2 books of the year. I actually vlogged 4th Wing because I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it. And spoiler, if you haven't watched that video, I loved it. And so then I pre-ordered the new book, Onyx Storm. And so I did just do a quick Google search if onyx is a color, and it is technically a color and a stone. But if you have read 4th Wing, you know Rebecca Yarros uses it as a color. Almost a little too much when she describes a certain character's eye color. Anyway, I still am really enjoying the books. Lots of fun dragons and action adventure and romance. It's really, really fun. And so, Onyx Storm is officially going on my February TBR, which I know I'm gonna read it anyway, and so I'll hold off a little bit and read it in February. So that's the next book on my TBR, so let's roll again. All right, so that was color in the title. So we will roll again. This will be our 4th roll. I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Oh, we're gonna roll again, see what happens. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so here's an example where I have to pull a prompt, but it has to be a fantasy book. Okay, let's see. Title starts with first initial. Man, these ones are hard this month. So I need a title that starts with an A. Okay, I'm gonna get back with you. So I got title that starts with my first initial, but it was a green square, so I need it to be a fantasy. And you guys, none of the books that are on my like need to read, because I have plans for these books, start with an A. And actually a lot of books start with the. So I had to go to my shelves. Luckily, I do have a lot of good options. One I saw right away and I panicked. You guys, I panicked because this one, A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon, I could technically read. I haven't read Priory of the Orange Tree yet, but this is a prequel, so I was like, oh my, but I'm like, heck no, I can't read that. But then I found some more. I found like this one, which I am really interested in reading. This is A Flame in the North by Lilith St. Crow, but I am trying to read through the Faithful and the Fallen series, and that's also very like Norse inspired epic high fantasy, and so I think I would just get confused. So I'm like, I can't read this. So I had to put that aside. And then I had this one, Ashes of the Sun by Django Wexler. This one just sounds really good. It's pretty big though, and like I said, I have some books I need to talk about at the end of this video that I'm gonna have to add to this TBR, so odds are I might not be able to read that. But I do have 2 books that are, I think they're both YA. I've been enjoying YA. And so I have Ember in the Ashes, Ember in the Ashes, as well as Air Awakens. So Air Awakens by Elise Kova and Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. I don't know. So I think I'm gonna have to do a quick like read of the back and I'll get back to you. Oh man, okay, they both sound really good for different reasons. Like this one, I love it's like a brother sister. He gets like arrested for treason and then she has to go like to this academy and be a spy or something to that notion. But this one's about a library apprentice who has like a rare magic, but then she saves a prince. I don't know, because they're both starts of series and I have so many series ongoing. Okay, I don't know. I'm not gonna read this one. I want to, but it's too big for my plans. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with this one. I'm not quite sure why. The library aspect just sounds fun. It sounds like a girl who doesn't want to be involved in stuff. She just wants to be a librarian. I kind of like that. I don't know. I'm gonna go with this one. We're gonna officially put that as my third book for my February TBR. Okay, let's go on and let's hope we can get some of those books that are in front of me on this TBR. Okay, so we did title with my first initial and now let's see what we got. Okay, 10. Sorry, that took me a minute to do the math. I don't know why. 10. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh no. Okay, well, pop quiz, for those of you who are new to my game, means I have to pick 2 books. I have to pick 2 books with 2 prompts. So let's just do it. Let's do it. Okay, we'll just pick them both. All right, I have recent purchase. I like that one. Recent purchase, as well as has an epilogue. Okay, I'm gonna take these over to my bookshelf and see what I can find. You guys, I did so good. So, has an epilogue actually was a little bit challenging. I looked through a number of books, but this last one I looked through does have an epilogue. The epilogue. So this book is The 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. This is the book for my reading challenge for February. Now I'm trying to remember what the prompt is for this book. I can't remember what the prompt is. I will pop it up on the screen because the way I run the reading challenge is you could either follow the prompt or you can do both. You can read the buddy read with us. So this is the buddy read for February and I'm really excited about it. I liked Once and Future Witches, so I really enjoy Alex E. Harrow's writing style. This has always intrigued me just by the very nature of the book, of the fact that there's this girl in a library. So I'm having a very library heavy February. She's in a library and then I guess there's these like books that take her to doors. There's one book, a strange book, that tells the tale of secret doors of love, adventure, and danger. And I think our main character of January goes through these doors, maybe. Again, this is one of those that every time I talk about it, I'm like, I'm actually not quite sure what this is about, but I'm excited. So that's going on February's TBR. The other prompt I got for my pop quiz was recent purchase. So I picked up this book recently. It was in my latest book haul, which I will put a link above for you to go see. But I purchased this one. I was on vacation with my husband. We were just going to bookstores and it gave me an excuse to purchase a book because I'm like on vacation. So Defy the Night by Bridget Kimmerer. But I'm buddy reading this with a friend this month. And so I'm excited. to hop into this whole series. I've heard really good things. From what I understand, this is a YA fantasy series about this girl who is an apothecary apprentice in this realm place where there's like a sickness going around and there's like the upper class and the lower class and she's down kind of outside of the castle gates or something like that. And she goes looking for a flower or some notion, moonflower petals, and she steals them and gets caught. And so I guess that's a very bad thing. Don't know. I've heard great things. I'm really excited to get this on my TBR. So that was very successful because those were 2 books on my pile over there that I need to read anyway. So I really wanted to get them on this TBR. But it looks like, hopefully, unless I roll really badly, I should be on to the final exam square on this next roll. So let's just do that. Okay, so those 2, and now, yes, made it to the final square. So I'm gonna pull the camera off and I will do the spinner wheel for the final exam square. All right, you guys, so I made it to the final exam spot right here. And now we're going to spin the final wheel. And so the things on this wheel are just a lot of things like bigger lists, like yearly lists or different goals like read more of my book of the month, which I have landed on that space so many times. But let's just see. Let's see what happens. We're gonna hit spin and see what it lands on for this month. Okay, not book of the month. All right, yearly TBR. All right, guys, that was perfect. That was perfect. So I have just recently made a video, my 15 books in 2025, not 25 books, but 15 books in 2025 I wanted to read. A number of them were my anticipated releases. So I'm like, oh no, most of these books have not come out. And I had already used Onyx Storm on this TBR, so I couldn't do that. But I remembered that I put this book on there because I'm planning on buddy reading it with my sister, and we're doing that in February, so it couldn't have been more perfect. And so the book is Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. And so this book I'm really excited about. Really, I enjoy Cassandra Clare's writing. I enjoy the world she built with the whole Shadowhunter universe. And now I know this is her first like adult book, and the second book is coming out sometime 2025, like early in the year. So I really wanted to see if I liked it, because then the story would be really fresh and I could just move on to book 2. I believe it's more like epic high fantasy than like fantasy romance, but I also know that Cassandra Clare writes a lot of romance in her books, so I'm not quite sure. But the general premise is that there is this prince, and there's a boy named Kel who is an orphan who looks a lot like the prince. And so I think from an early age, he was raised alongside the prince as pretty much his body double. And so I'm not sure why, but I feel like it's giving me kind of like Fitz vibes from The Realm of the Elderling. I could be totally wrong on that. Maybe just because I really love his character, but I'm hoping I like this Kel, and I honestly don't even know what's going on. I'm guessing there's going to be a plot line of like assassination of the prince, right? You wouldn't need a body double if that wasn't the case. So yes, I'm putting this on my TBR. So this is a bit bigger of a TBR than I was anticipating, and of course it's like the shortest month of the year, right? All right, so what I have on my TBR University TBR, because I'm going to share one more book with you. But what I have is, I do have Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. I just don't have the book yet. So that book, and then Defy the Night by Bridget Kamirer. I need to look that up. Then also 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Harrow. Air Awakens by Elise Kova. Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus, which I think I forgot to mention that earlier. And then Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. So that's 6 books on my TBR University TBR. And then I have one more for sure to share with you, potentially 2. We'll see. Okay. So the one that I'm for sure going to also be reading in February, because it is part of Gwen's Buddy Read on Patreon. And it's Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zeman. Now, this book, I feel like late to the game. Like, everybody has read this book. It was very popular. It's like book of the year sort of status, but I just haven't been in a contemporary book mood. And I believe that's what this is. Although it does have some buzzwords that I really like, because I believe it is a kind of lifelong friends story about these 2 friends who are video game creators or something like that. And then they create like a super popular game, and I think it just kind of checks in on their life over a number of years. So this is going on the TBR. And then this last one is more of, if I can get to it, I want to start rereading the Legendborn series by Tracy Dion, because the 3rd book is coming out. Oathbound is coming out. I think it's in March. And I pre-ordered that as well. I hardly ever pre-order, but this year's different. I've just pre-ordered a number of books. But this book, to start with, is about our main character of Bree, who is going to university a little early. Anyway, she does that on, I think, Chapel Hill, UC Chapel Hill. And like her first night there, she runs into like a group of people like in the woods doing something strange. And then some strange things happen that she witnesses that she's not supposed to witness, and for some reason she gets herself involved. And in this case, they are also fighting off the demons in kind of a similar way to like Shadowhunters from Cassandra Clare, but just totally different, because it also brings in all this Arthurian legend, and it's so much fun. You guys, I just really enjoyed these books, both this one and Bloodmarked, and so I want to get these read before the new book comes out. And so this is not officially on my TBR, but if I have time, if I can get through this whole stack, I will pick that up. And I think it would be a really fun reread. But that's February, you guys. That's probably the biggest TBR I've had so far with TBR University. Again, for me, I'm not looking for big TBRs from this. I'm just looking for a really fun way to pick books from my shelves, which really worked out this year because look at this. Very matchy-matchy. But that is what I have for this video and my February TBR. Let me know what you're most excited to read about in the month of February. But if you have nothing you necessarily want to say, leave me some eyeglasses, an eyeglass emoji, just to let me know you were here. And otherwise, you guys, like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel if you want to, and I will see you in the next book video. All right, take care. Bye.